Good morning, Ratman. I'm your host, Pope Che, the legitimate Bishop of Rome and the true leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Pope Francis is a fraud anti-pope. And joining us for the first time, we have a very special guest. Replacing Corgi permanently is our new host, Corgi, but with a better computer.
I should take offense to that, but I'm looking over at Toothpaste, my old computer, and then I'm looking back at Wonder on my new computer, and I ain't gonna complain. She is gorgeous.
Also, Corgi's microphone is worse. Yeah, that's the thing. We're aware of it. There were two options. It was either record with the worst mic, but there's no background audio that I have to edit out, and there will be possibly problems that I have to deal with, or not do that and have to edit background audio, and I have 2 days before I leave the country. So I picked the one that could possibly have less work for me to do. Today's episode is brought to you by Rats, as always, our favorite sponsor, Rats. They're great.
They're our only sponsor.
I was thinking yesterday, what if the Divine Comedy was a historical document in Trench Crusade? Like, Dante really did go on that journey, and God was just like, hey, here's some immunity, and here's Virgil, and go scout for the Chrysos so that they know what they're facing. Because they talk about the circles of hell, and that's a Divine Comedy thing. So did Dante just actually go to hell?
Honestly, he probably did. When he saw the devil fucking chewing on Judas, he's just like, okay, yep, I'm gonna write a fucking story about this.
Okay, so today will be a little quicker, but probably not because Corgi's here.
Bye.
Because today we are focusing exclusively
We are
on
what?
Focusing.
I fucking hope not. You are married.
So today,
and I am not interested.
Okay, thanks. We are going to be focusing exclusively on the Iron Sultanate. However, I did have to Google so many terms. This wasn't one that I had to Google. But did you know the feminine term of sultan is a sultana, which is what Australians call raisins, despite them being technically two different things?
I did know that because of Final Fantasy XIV.
Nerd.
Kettle.
Yeah, but at least I'm not playing Final Fantasy.
No, instead you're playing Marvel Rivals and Dragon Age Veilguard, which reminds me, I'm pretty sure that's on sale.
I finished Dragon Age Veilguard like a month ago. I'm not playing it.
Play it again.
No.
There's more people to romance. Come on.
Nope.
Why can't you be a whore like normal people? Just the silence of, I don't know. Good question.
Yeah. So I'm going to explain some stuff to explain why things are called the way that they are. We're doing Che's back doing his Bretonia video where he just spent the entire first half of the video talking about fucking France.
No, we do not fuck France. They'd be into that. You little freaks.
Yep. So, first, we got Gog and Magog.
I would rather not.
Also known as Yajuj and Majuj in Arabic.
Again, I would rather not.
They are biblical and Quranic figures. Now, originally...
Oh, these are real people.
They're not real people.
Oh, this is Trench Crusade people.
This is not Trench Crusade people. This is stuff that appear in the Bible.
Oh, you know what I meant, you pedantic shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so originally it was Gog from Magog in Ezekiel. That being from the Tanakh, or the Jewish part of the Bible. But then, in the New Testament, the Christian part, Revelations, which is, if you haven't read, it's a trip. Revelations is insane.
Oh, I remember playing that map. It was pretty damn good on release.
I fucking hate you. Anyway, in Revelations, it's Gog and Magog, making them two different people. I love translation mistakes, causing entire stretches of lore that have to be explained. So here's the whole quote from the Bible. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the fucking Christ Bible, fuck off, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle. The number of whom is as the sand of the sea. People read this professionally. I had to read this for school. Fuck me. Bible is unwieldy.
Sorry, I can't get over Gog and Magog because I just imagine Gog, just a regular dude, and then Magog, but with a handlebar mustache. Like, are you sure you two aren't related? No. It's
Yeah.
just coincidence.
So, Gog and Magog are the servants of Satan. Nice. They're the servants of Satan.
So I have to put little devil horns on them.
And then, somehow, fucking Alexander gets involved in this. So,
Alexander the Great?
we'll get there. So, there's a book called The Alexander Romance, and it's a retelling of Alexander's life. This is Alexander the Great for those that don't know historical mononyms. And if you don't know who that is, well, as it turns out, I have a book for you to read. See, it's called The Alexander Romance, and it's a retelling of Alexander's life.
This motherfucker made fan fiction about himself.
He didn't write it.
He did it? Okay, thank God, because it'd be like...
Came out like 600 years after he died.
I just imagined him hunched over a desk, wearing like one of those gonzo glasses with the big nose and the mustache, just like Alexander was super buff and hot and totally had like a 12-pack.
Alexander didn't have time to write. He was too busy being dead.
That's what you think.
I think he died at like 26.
Hey, Trench Crusade people, can you make a canon that Alexander the Great's still alive and he just keeps writing romance novels about himself?
It's not a romance. It's like a romance in the sense of like the traditional. He died at 32. In the traditional sense of romance, like as in like
yeah, not romance as in smoochy romance as in these are the cool things about him. This is poetry of him.
Yeah, basically. So in it, famous Christian Alexander, born 300 years before Christ, prays to God to close a gap in the mountain pass, and subsequently builds a gate in the closed gap. Specifically, to wall off 22 nations, 2 of which are Gog and Magog. It's worth noting, Alexander is commonly depicted with goat horns, and in the Alexander Romance, Alexander is repeatedly referred to as the Horned King.
And that's when we built the Iron Wall to keep out those heathens.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait,
now,
what?
Yeah. Now, this event is subsequently recounted in the Quran, which I read in one of my 3 Qurans. Go watch our end of video content if you want to know why I own 3 Qurans.
Hang on, which one did you read it out of? Because I think the middle one had the most potential.
Though, this event is attributed to a man called, there's going to be a bunch of this, Du al-Qanayan, which literally means the owner of 2 horns. You can put 2 and 2 together, it's meant to be Alexander.
Imagine your nickname literally just being your fucking deformity. There goes Captain Hunchback. Dude.
Well, he's...
Or is this a Dracula moment?
No, it's... actually, yes, it is a Dracula moment. His father was a priest who wore goat horns, so he is depicted as having goat horns.
Oh, I was mainly meaning how his original name is Vlad Tepes, but everyone
That's not his
just
name.
referred to him.
Tepes means the Impaler. Idiot! You fucking moron! You fucking idiot! His name's Vlad the Third. It's only Vlad the Third. You fucking idiot! You dumb fuck! His father, Vlad the Second Dracul, meaning Vlad the Second, the Dragon. So he is Vlad the Third Dracula, meaning Vlad the Third, Son of the Dragon, also known as Vlad Tepes, meaning Vlad the Impaler. You fucking moron! Get fucked! You're the fucking Dracula fan. You didn't fucking know that, idiot.
Call him what you want. That's not going to stop me from tonguing his fucking taint. Anyway, please cut that out.
No. Islam also has a thing called shaitan. They are evil spirits that tempt people and jinn to sin.
Oh, shaitan.
Yeah.
Shaitan my face?
I hate you so much. Also, it seems like this is the thing people don't know. Islam and Christianity, same God. They believe in the same God, just variations.
Yeah.
I saw a couple people on the Reddit, like different threads, posted just being like, so which God is accurate? The Islam God, like the Islamic God and the Christian God? It's just people being like, they're the same God. Literally the same God.
Isn't that the same people who are like, oh, Muhammad is the Islam God, and it's like...
Yeah, some people are dumb.
He's a prophet, isn't he?
Yes, he's a prophet.
It's not like Muhammad was Jesus.
Yeah.
I think. I haven't read the Quran. I haven't
No.
read any books.
No.
I'm illiterate.
Muhammad is a prophet 500 or 600 years after the death of Jesus, and Jesus is a prophet in Islam. He's also the Messiah in Islam. They just don't believe that he was resurrected or that he's the son of God, but they do believe that he is a Messiah.
That's fair. I mean, it's a bit hard to believe that, yet so fucking millions of years of evolution, and it just so happens that a human gives magical. Cut that out. I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't think you know enough about religion because I have no idea what the fuck you were just insinuating that Jesus evolved into existence. What?
If I had a train of thought,
Corgi,
it grew
Corgi,
legs and ran
Corgi,
off into the dark forest.
Corgi. Jesus is a splinter of God. He's a fragment of the Godhead. He is part of God, and God birthed himself into existence via Mary. He's not a fucking mutant. He's not the first X-Man.
What's your superpower, Jesus? I can resurrect after 3 days. That's fucking lame.
He can also resurrect the dead and do fucking transubstantiation bullshit.
Hold on. Trench Crusade. Lich. Jesus. You're welcome.
That's basically the Meta-Christs. Anyway.
Alright.
So, game time. When the Templars opened the gates to Hell, also known as Jahannam, it released
Jahannam.
Gog and Magog. The servants of Hell.
I thought you said Gog and Magog as in like one person.
Oh, Gog and Magog.
Actually, yeah. No, I'm just thinking of American Horror Story. Continue.
If you want to get back into the Bretonia episode, Gog Magog is a character that appears in the Arthurian myth. Bad time all around. And it seemed like everything was lost. And as it so happens, Allah manifested the great iron wall of Du al-Qanan around the Sultanate of Rome. Literally, the Sultanate of Rome. It is here. I need to open my... So, it is allegedly,
Fergus.
the Iron Wall is longer than the Great Wall of China. I say allegedly because I had been told this, but I couldn't find a source for it, apart from people saying that is what the devs said. I'm not saying they're wrong. They're probably correct. They just didn't have a source, so I can't bring up the exact quote from the devs about how large the fucking wall is.
Always do your research, kids. Don't half-ass it.
No one knows how big the Sultanate is, because apparently it's really fucking big. But they're like, they built the walls around the Sultanate of Rome, which is a real place, and it is a very small place. And then they're like, wait, it was bigger than that. So someone I was talking to said, I think they might have gotten the Sultanate of Rome and the Seljuk Turks mixed up, because if you put it on the border of the Seljuk Turks, it makes a lot more sense and is probably roughly as large as what they're implying it to be. So maybe it's the border of the Seljuk Turks and not the Sultanate of Rome, which is...
Celtic?
Seljuk.
Oh, I thought you were saying Celtic wrong.
No.
It's a bird, it's a plane.
It's the Seljuk Turks.
Okay, now something to note. It does say, quote, the creator of the universe came to the aid of the faithful. As had been written, the great iron wall of Du al-Qanan manifested itself. Which, to me, reads as a way to sow doubt on the idea that God did it. Like, as had been written implies like, oh, well, we wrote down that God did it. Maybe we did something to do it. Maybe God didn't do it. But
maybe there's another God. A double god.
There might be multiple gods. So a call was made, which is valid, and all the Muslims, which is a lot of people, probably too many, migrated to Rum, which is why a lot of people it has to be bigger. There's a lot of people. So I think someone said it was 1/4 of the world's population at the time. Migrated to
India?
One city. Might not have been 1/4, but it was might have been 20% of the world's population at the time. Yeah, millions died. This was not an easy journey and required marching through literal hell or sailing around it. The Hell Crew also pulled a dick move and made statues out of their body parts so they could not be buried in accordance to the Quran.
Yeah, that sounds like hell.
But once all the Muslims arrived, which realistically probably still had some coming, They sealed the gates and formed the Great Sultanate of the Invincible Iron Wall of the Two Horns. Which is a very fucking long title. And they have allegedly been attacked every day ever since. Which isn't the case in Antioch, which is interesting. But instead, things are going pretty well. Islamic Golden Age is still continuing in a sense, though they are heavily reliant on trade, which, as a landlocked nation, constantly besieged, not an easy feat to pull off, unless they have gotten some naval ports somewhere.
You say that ominously, and I don't know why. I'm just imagining like they use the sewer system.
If they're larger than their borders suggest, which it seems like they are, then they probably have a port somewhere. But if they are holding the historical borders of Rome, at the time in which Rome existed, they shouldn't have any naval trade. They should be a landlocked nation. Yeah. Anyway.
Where are they getting these boats from? Zeppelins. Imagine just fucking walking through the trenches when all of a sudden an airdrop boat just squashes you.
Hey, you want to know something absolutely fucked?
That actually does happen?
They do have Zeppelins, yes.
Oh my god, they really do have boats. Sky boats.
So, considering the Iron Wall is the only thing that stands between annihilation and continuing their relatively bad time, protecting it is in fact very vital. They have snipers stationed quite frequently, as well as perfectly spaced out Janissary barracks, so the entire wall is covered.
I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You literally have hell outside the door.
Yeah. When shit gets fucked, they start sending out the flesh monsters, and the Sultan himself might even show up.
Flesh monsters, of course they have flesh monsters.
Yep. So, as far as their external goals, they do send out warbands to just murder apostates, which seems like a massive waste of resources. Alongside the standard search for relics and the like, they do relatively get along with the Chrysos in a we are both fighting hell sort of way, but they absolutely hate the bastards in this whole fucking thing is your fault kind of way. So they avoid fighting each other, but absolutely do jump at the chance when it comes to it.
Sorry, my brain is scattered at the moment.
Yeah, it's fucking so is mine. We got sub-factions. First of all, the Fidai of Alamut. Fidai meaning sacrifice or warrior. I got two different answers. Fayadin means self-sacrifices. It's been a while since I've had an Arabic-speaking friend, so I can't get a translation for that one. These guys are your Hashishin, your assassins.
Ah.
So, they are still hanging out in Alamut in Persia, modern-day Iran. So, not near where all the other Muslims are, but they have made a deal with the sultanas. They will work for them in exchange. They fuck right off and leave the Hashishin to do their own thing.
I mean, yeah, we've all seen Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. Fun fact about the Hashishin, it's literally where we get the word assassin from.
I'm learning.
And we also have no idea why they're called that. The whole smoking hashish thing might be a myth, or at the very least, not where they get their name. Anyway.
Or maybe that's just a smell that you smell before you die. They get you loaded up on hashish, and then they just fucking kill you. Hashishins.
No, the theory was they would take hashish before they would assassinate, so they were calm. Because they assassinated... Prior to the Hashishin, assassinations were like, oh, we're going to sit in a corner and plot for like months and then like come out with the perfect poisoning. Well, the assassins they literally do what they do in Assassin's Creed. Where they're just like, what if we just stab someone in broad daylight? Apparently that works. It apparently worked pretty fucking well. Repeatedly. Caliphs are not expecting to be stabbed in the middle of the street.
Yeah, no one expects to be stabbed in the middle of the street.
But like, imagine you're the Pope, right? But also like the Emperor. You're like an Emperor Pope. And then someone walks up to you and just stabs you to death. That happened 3 times. 3 times!
At what point do you just decide, yeah, maybe we should invest in something to keep the Pope from not being stabbed?
That's what I said in the timeline video when I bring this up, is not to victim blame, but the third guy, that's absolutely his fault. The first guy, 100% I get, you don't see that coming. The second guy, you're like, they're not going to do it again. The third guy, they'll do it again. So why did it happen again?
Maybe he just really had a thing for wanting to be stabbed. Or maybe he was a masochist and just wanted to see if he could handle it.
Yeah.
Spoiler, he couldn't.
So, they are currently run by a dude called Rashid al-Din Sanan. So, here's the thing. Rashid al-Din Sanan, real dude, ran the Assassins. Born in 1131. Died in 1193.
Damn.
The game's set in 1914. Now,
Damn,
if
he
you-
old.
if you two are capable of basic maths, that makes this man almost 800 years old.
Therefore, my idea of romance novelist Alexander the Great isn't that far-fetched.
There's an implication that Joan of Arc is still alive.
You can't kill that old bitch.
She's referred to as Living Saint Joan of Arc.
Maybe that's just another word for immortal.
Yeah. So
Should be like a pyromancer.
He sends out the assassins into no man's land to do stuff. What stuff? No one knows. They haven't been able to torture it out of them, but it's worth noting the 800-year-old man doesn't give orders like a normal person.
Well, if I were to wager a bet on as to why assassins go into no man's land, I'm gonna guess it's not to bake a fucking pie. It's probably to kill someone.
Yeah. So he speaks to them in their dreams and gives them orders that way.
He's a soothsayer?
They just dream their next mission. They are then given rewards alleged to match heaven itself, which is kind of based on a possible real thing that the assassins would do. So they also just have Ismaili, which is a sect of Islam, monks that just hang out in Alamut. So, Corgi.
No,
Corgi.
don't do it.
It's time
Don't you fucking do it.
for our fan favorite segment.
No!
And it's good to have you back, Corgi. Whose boat is that boat?
No!
Corgi,
No!
whose boat is that boat?
It's your fucking mother's! Why is there a clock?
That's the boat. Whose boat is that boat?
Father Time?
Do you want to have a guess?
If it's Sandman or something stupid like that,
Nope. That boat belongs to the assassins.
the clock.
Yep. You want to guess why?
What the fuck kind of cockamamie bullshit is this?
They can travel through time, Corgi. They're
That is
time
not-
assassins.
That is not a boat. That is a clock. And
It's a
time
boat.
travel is not on a boat.
Whose boat is that boat? That's the boat. It's a clock.
I super hate you.
So more on the time travel in a bit. So we move on to our next and last sub-faction. We got the House of Wisdom. I really hope they expand more on the House of Wisdom, because all the mentions of them are, hey, they are in the Sultanate, except the House of Wisdom, real place, in Baghdad. Or at least, was. It was ultimately destroyed by the Mongols, which brings me to the Mongols. They are, interestingly, absent in lore. You would think they would be mentioned in the timeline, but they aren't, which makes me wonder if Temujin just never became Chinggis Khan, which
What
would
did you
mean
just say?
Chinggis Khan. That's his actual pronunciation of his name. It's not Genghis. Genghis is an anglicized version. It's Chinggis.
Yeah, well, I honestly thought you just said the slur for Asian people.
Nope. Chinggis Khan.
That was so out of left field. I was genuinely, huh?
Which would mean the Mongols never formed if Chinggis Khan never came into existence. Temujin was just a little fucking Mongol warlord of a singular tribe and never unified all the tribes.
So they're just still roaming around out there,
Maybe.
ununified?
We don't know. We don't know what happened with the Mongols. Not mentioning the Mongols is a very big omission, because the Mongols were a very big thing in human history. And then they're just never mentioned. It's like, okay, what happened to the Mongols?
Maybe they
Why
got a
aren't the
plan.
Mongols here? Why aren't they involved? And the House of Wisdom is still around, and they were destroyed by the Mongols. What fucking happened?
Time travel monks.
Anyway, interested to see what happens with them. But back on topic, the House of Wisdom is doing a lot. They run libraries, workshops, forges, gardens of exotic plants, hospitals, and observatories at the highest of qualities. They just kind of generally continuing the Islamic Golden Age in their own little way. And they're still doing poetry and philosophy like fucking nerds.
Uh, Just in the middle of all this hell, Socrates is still kicking around in Greece like, yeah.
Socrates is very dead at this point.
Yeah, well, so was so many fucking people, and yet they're still alive.
Yeah, but no one no one who is still alive died before the time divergence. The people who are implied to still be alive all were born after 1099. Socrates died in like 400 BCE.
Yeah, well, time travel assassins could have brought him back.
They can't time travel that far in the past.
So only to 1099.
Nope.
1099 and above.
Nope. Like seconds. We'll get to that. Anyway, I wrote a poem. It's a haiku. Everything is fire. Chrysos and Hell Crew fighting. Fine, we'll join, I guess. Point is...
That was not a haiku.
Yes, it was.
But do you count everything as 3?
What? It's 575.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is everything 3? You said everything is fire.
Yeah, everything. Hold up. Maybe it's a soccer haiku. I might have done a soccer haiku. It'll be fine. Everything is 3 syllables. Everything.
Okay, never mind then, we're fine.
Yeah. I didn't do a soccer haiku. Fuck you.
I'm just double checking, bitch.
The point is, it's not so fucking... The point is, it's not so fucking hard to write poetry. Do something useful, you fucking nerds.
It's snowing on Mount Fuji.
Okay. Anyway, they have many foreign weapons from far-off lands. Hopefully, they have the Japanese and Aztec weapons that are just a giant stick with knives in them. Love that stick.
There's a different stick I prefer. Tank-busting grenade stick.
Yeah, it's a pretty good stick, but I raise you, stick with knives in it.
What are they, the quexolotls?
Nope, that's a fucking lizard.
Yeah.
Tetsubo and Makahaitel.
Oh, that's the word I was thinking of.
Yep.
Why did I think quexolotl?
Quetzalcoatl? That's a god. I thought you said axolotl. No. Axolotl is a lizard. Quetzalcoatl is a god. Now, these two weapons has its modern equivalent, also known as a wooden plank with a rusty nail in it. Because of their whole thing, a lot of great thinkers from around the world go there, even if they aren't Muslim. In their labs, their flesh alchemists experiment on hell creatures to figure them out, how best to kill them, and the like. Here's
a hint. With fire, probably. Wait, no, hell's pretty hot.
Oh, yeah, fucking idiot.
We are made of water, and yet if we get too much water, we fucking drown. So therefore, potentially, you could burn hell to fire.
Well, they do use Flammenwerfers, so, you know.
The verfing of the Flammens.
Yeah. So to maintain their relative independence, the House of Wisdom works with the Sultanas to fortify the city, which doesn't really sound like independence, but hey, sure. So their alchemists work in the foundries to make their great cannons of the iron, which doesn't really sound like alchemy, but I guess it could be. Also, I like to think the great cannons of the iron wall are better versions of the basilic cannon that the Ottomans used. I will send you a picture.
Well, I mean, it makes sense since
of the basilic cannon. Now, it was like a large fuck-off cannon that could only be fired 3 times a day, or it would permanently break, and even then, it only lasted 6 weeks before it broke.
I mean, honestly, it does make sense. That is a lot of firepower.
It killed the people that would fire it from time to time.
Well, that explains why there's so many white pants people and fancy people standing away from the white pants.
I think it said it needed 60 people to handle it and 40 oxen to pull it.
God, this poor ox.
There was also there's another one called the Dardanelles cannon, which is a slightly more modern version of that, and by slightly I mean by like 20 years. This was created like the 1450s, and they created this, or the 40s, and they created this in like the 1460s. And it saw battle in the 1800s. And they used it to fight against a British invasion of the Ottomans. I just like to imagine, like, you're on that fucking boat and they're firing cannons, and then you see them roll out a fucking enormous cannon that is 400 years old. And then they just start firing giant stones at you, and just like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's the equivalent of going from a BB pellet to a fucking deagle bullet.
Yeah, well, it's the equivalent of, like, being in a modern battlefield. Like, you're looking at the enemies coming over the hill, and they come over the hill with those hand-cranked machine guns, and then it's just a row of them, and they start unloading gunfire on you, and you're just like, shit! And you start losing, because it's just like 8 machine guns firing at you at once. You're like, what the fuck?
God, Trench Crusade is so chaotic.
That's not Trench Crusade, that's real life!
Yeah, but didn't you say there was at one point, like, in Trench Crusade, they fucking have Tommy guns for some goddamn reason?
Yeah, well, they have Tommy guns, which is anachronistic in the sense that Tommy guns weren't invented for another 10 years from the setting. And in a country that doesn't exist in the law. It's 1914, they should barely have automatic weapons, yet they have submachine guns that were invented in the 1920s.
Time-traveling ninjas.
Yeah, but it was invented in a country that doesn't exist. The United States doesn't exist, and the United States invented the Tommy gun.
No
Also,
wonder
it's
Trench
a-
Crusade is
It's
so
a
happy.
Thompson machine gun. But
The
enough
Thompson
about
had the round barrel, right? Round mag-
barrel.
Round magazine.
It could have, yes, but usually it was a straight magazine. But usually in gangster movies, it's the drum magazine.
Yeah, I love that one just because, obviously, rattle 'em, boys! You know? God.
Also, the ballistic cannon didn't do much. Kind of just shot a wall a bunch, and then they went, oh, okay.
Why isn't this cannon working? Have we tried a bigger one yet?
Because of the Byzantine walls were very good.
Yeah.
Famously good. So they also create flesh monsters. They help. They also have a fleet of airships. Don't know if that's zeppelins or what exactly, but airships. Then they presumably use these airships, and they don't just walk to go check out Mecca and Medina to see if they are still engulfed in a sandstorm, which is interesting. Presumably God saw fit to protect Mecca and Medina and not, all the other places.
I don't know, maybe God was just sweet on someone there.
Yeah. Well, they're two very holy sites in Islam, but there's not like, a sandstorm protecting the Vatican.
That's because no one wants to go near the Vatican anyway. Those guys are weird.
They also let the Sultan know what's up. And then because of that, they get to go on their own adventures to hell and find lost books and shit. Or just get into fights, like normal people.
Just going full Doomslayer and all you wanted was a book.
Yeah. The Alchemists, however, are very important people. So they don't just fuck off for fun. There's always a reason. Because if they die, that's real bad. I propose they send the poets. Useless wastes of space.
They already tried that. With Dante. And look how that goes.
That's me theorizing. It's not, and Dante wasn't a. Well, I guess he was a poet. The Divine Comedy was a poetry. I just don't think of Dante as a poet, as much as like a novelist. But
yeah, it's sort of the reverse of Edgar Allan Poe. You think of him as a poet, but you forget he wrote stories.
Yeah. Now, onto units that stood out, which is most of them, almost all of them. So I was going to skip the Janissaries, but an interesting thing of note about them is they are conscripts captured as children from outside the walls and forced into the role of elite military guard for the Sultan, which isn't too far off how they originally operated in the real world as well. However, unlike the real world, through some kind of wizardry, they are brainwashed to follow the Sultan. They also get magic potions that kind of make them into super soldiers.
Ah, yes. Medieval Spartans.
Yeah.
We're talking Halo
again,
Spartans.
not medieval. It's World War One.
The reason I say medieval is because in comparison to fucking Master Chief's suit and goddamn World War One, it's pretty medieval, I mean.
Not really. That's not what medieval means. Anyway.
Yeah. Medieval. Kind of evil.
Moving on.
Medium evil.
we got one of the flesh monsters, the Lion of Jabir. So, Jabir,
Puppy.
real dude. Real dude. He was an alchemist who wanted to create the Takwin, which is creating synthetic life from alchemy.
Like the golems.
Yeah, apparently the golems exist. Apparently, there is mention of Hebrews kicking around in secret forts, and apparently in one of the expanded laws, I didn't see it. I just saw people mention it. It mentions that Hebrews are also creating golems and shit.
No, yeah, that does make sense. It's kind of part of.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I'm pulling that out of my ass because that's the only context I have of that is from that one Supernatural episode where
golems aren't as Jewish as you think they are. Like, you think it's part of Jewish folklore that they've been around for, millennia. They've been in Jewish folklore for centuries. But it's like 300 years, I think. 200 years. Jacob Geller has a video on it. Go check out his video on the golem if you're more interested in it. It's a very
I loved his
interesting
cold one.
stuff. Yeah.
Cold.
His he eventually ends up getting into like the Thing, Ben Grimm and Superman as modern interpretations of the golem.
I thought
Ben Grimm very much being obviously a modern interpretation of the golem. Superman less so, but I can see it. Okay. In their laboratories, Jabarian alchemists create Takwin of many different varieties, including robots, specifically called automatons. One such creature, which the creation of is much more closely guarded, is the Lion of Jabir. The Lions of Jabir. Now, each one does look different. They don't all have to look like the picture. And they are a reflection of the skill of the alchemist creating it. They'll have different properties and abilities based on the alchemist's knowledge that is gained from the forbidden books of Solomon. Yep. So a lot of alchemists die, either because the whole thing blows up or it just kills them. But the Sultanate really needs those lions, so they do just kind of go, fuck it, we'll sacrifice as many shit alchemists as we need to get these things.
I mean, kind of makes sense. We all have our hard jobs, and you don't want to go into a job half-assed, otherwise, you might jeopardize other people's lives.
Yep. So here's a quote. It's a long one, because I was lazy, and it was late.
Still is.
Creating the Lions of Jabir is extremely difficult, and there are endless variables to consider. Because of this, the lions are often malformed in some way, though still magnificent hunters in war. Their malformations often cause their existence to be one of constant physical pain and suffering. The truly tragic cases are the lions created with human-like intelligence, who are racked with existential dread as they realize the horror of their unnatural origins. Real, why did they program me to feel pain thing going on there.
Yeah, that is kind of fucked up how you're like, well, we were going for realism, and we kind of forgot that these guys are just fucking tortured as shit.
Anyway, so they are generally very fast. Most have armor in their flesh, and some have weird powers because of the nature of their existence. Final note, the Sultan personally owns 77, which tracks because God is 7.
God is 7 years old, that's why he made all this weird shit.
No, God is 7. Next, we got the people who make the lions, the Jabarian alchemists. Look at the little guy on his right. He's just a little guy. Oh, look at him. Anyway, so, seemingly, all alchemists learn in the House of Wisdom. Learning from...
And yet they didn't have the fucking wisdom to not make that thing. Jesus,
we'll
this is some scorn shit.
We'll get into that thing. So, they learn from the Smaragdine tablet, a real thing that exists in medieval alchemy. And the only reason I included that information was because it was fun. It was a fun word to say. Try it. Smaragdine. Here's the spelling on screen now. Corgi. Try it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were telling me to spell it, and I'm like,
No, try it. Smaragdine.
Smaragdine?
Smaragdine.
I'm not trying to invoke anything in this house.
Smaragdine.
I already have a busted ass AC. I do not need a demon haunting me. You can do it because you own your house.
Yep.
But I ain't fucking inviting them.
Anyway, anyone can become an alchemist, as long as you are smart enough and strong of will. So it's open to the poor and women and poor women.
Damn
That was a good joke. Fuck you. So, it's a fucking process to become an alchemist. You have to study the works of Jabir, translate the keys of Solomon, merge a child with a dog, and
What?
learn all the fundamental disciplines in alchemy.
No.
You wanna know the funniest part about that joke?
Don't say Edward or I'm going to break your kneecaps.
I have never seen any Full Metal Alchemist.
Neither have I. I just remember the trauma of being like, oh, look at how happy they are.
See, you already know more than I do. I just know Chad gets merged with the dog. It's literally the only thing I know about the show. And his brother is a robot.
Yeah.
So, then after 7 years of that, if you don't fuck it all up, then you get to attempt 3 trials. Or as I wrote, trails.
Ah, yes. Trails and tribulations.
Number 1, make a suit of armor that protects them from harm. Quote, this is an essential tool of their craft, festooned with the seals of Solomon, which enables them to bend the elements of creation to their will and shields them even from the devices of hell.
But not the devices of being made.
Yep. Number 2, create a homunculus. One of the tackling.
We love
If you don't fuck it up, it takes 40 days to make the little freak.
Yeah, which also includes human feces. Fun fact.
It has fine motor skills better than any human and is a slime girl that can go from solid to slime.
Don't.
It's also immune to extreme temperatures and poison, which is useful because you are going to be shirking a lot of your work onto this little thing. Quote, many aspirants fail here, and their creation emerges from its golden celestial sphere, a deformed monstrosity filled with hatred towards its creator. It burrows itself into the alchemist's body to consume it from within, wearing its would-be master as a skin. Ah, neat.
Us.
Cool. That's fun.
Yeah, that's us.
Third, lastly, and stereotypically, open their third eye. Humans don't have 3 eyes.
Yet.
Idiots. So, this third eye allows them to see, quote, the building blocks of creation, which helps them to build things wrong. Nope, which helps them to not build things wrong.
Unlike that sentence.
Now, if they fail this, they still get a third eye that becomes giant. Specifically, quote, nightmare proportions, and then merges with their other 2 eyes, making them a cyclops and the type of motherfucker to lose a fight to nobody. Which is the second time I have made that joke in a video, but that video hasn't come out yet, so it's technically the first.
Okay, I'll give you props for that one. That one's good.
That's a very deep cut joke.
Yeah, I hate you for it because
Yep.
it took me
I'm
a
not going to
second.
explain it.
Yeah, don't explain it. If you don't get it, fuck you. Read a book.
Yeah, read a book.
Be a nerd like us.
Anyway, this drives them crazy, and they spend the rest of their, usually, very short lives screaming of the horrors around them they can see now. Now, usually, the alchemists kill these guys. However, sometimes they don't, and they keep them alive for some unknown reason. Now, I would
think
take
the
a
reason...
guess.
Sorry.
What's your guess?
My reason is just because it's fucking funny to look at something screaming. Yeah, welcome to life, bitch. Get used to it.
Now, my guess is it's because it says of, not from.
Of what?
Screaming of the horrors.
Oh.
Not screaming from the horrors. They aren't just screaming their lungs out because they saw something. They are screaming what they see. That is probably very useful information to have. If you don't fuck any of that up, congrats! You're an alchemist now. You are now, quote, a master of esoteric powers, able to control fire and ice, metal and liquid, capable of creating intricate mechanical devices and artificial life, as well as weapons of calamitous potency.
That could never be me.
Yep. The Sultanate leaves you alone as long as you make them Jabir lions. Seriously.
Look, you can be a fucking freak all you like. Just come on, just scratch my back and you can be good.
Yeah, seriously, they really need those lions. Why aren't you making more lions? Please. They need more lions.
And while you're at it, make sure to get us some rats. I miss them.
And also now, every now and then you have to fight in battles from time to time. Running around like that chick for Big Hero 6, throwing chemical mixes at people.
You mean Honey Lemon?
Probably. Been a while since I watched that movie.
It's a good movie.
So next we got the Assassins. So
The
most people in the Iron Walls see these guys as heretics, but they are permitted because they are useful. And the Sultan wants them, so that they are often sent off in warbands. Part of the reason they are so useful is they can time travel, sort of. They use rituals and hallucinogens to bend space and time, which isn't really what you want to hear. Hey, so I invented a time travel. Oh,
Yeah.
really? How does that work? Drugs! Great. Cool.
I mean, hey, if it was going to happen anyway, it would have happened with drugs.
So, you can be staring at one assassin 100 meters away, and then he disappears and stabs you in the back. And then you turn around and he's gone. And then you turn around again and is standing where he was before.
Nothing personnel, kid.
Yep. Quote, they can seemingly appear in two places at once, strike an enemy with startling speed, and then travel back in time to a moment a few heartbeats before, safe from any retaliation.
Literally nothing personnel, kid.
They are super soldiers. They're altered with potions and chemicals and unguents, a word I had never heard before, means a thick substance, usually with a pleasant smell.
I
Used
thought it
to
was
treat
like
skin problems and make the skin soft.
Skin so soft you can disobey time.
Yeah. They're also just taller than normal humans, and much stronger and faster, and time travelers. They really like their poison blades as a weapon. The coward's weapon, if you will. They also go with a hefty poison, quote, the milk of Manat, also known as the cup of death, a simple touch of these blades upon unprotected flesh is certain death, as the body of the victims turn black and rots from within over the course of a few excruciating seconds. You ever see the clip of the Japanese show with the guy who just talks up the extreme poison on his knife and he's showing it off?
And he licks it.
And then he licks the knife. It's just like,
I
oh,
shouldn't have done
I
that.
shouldn't have done that. I was thinking about that the whole time.
やけどするねあそれああれ舐めちゃった
So, the last note about the assassins, their weapons are made of their blood. I'm just gonna read it. This because it paints a really good picture, and me writing was bad. I tried to write it more concisely and I couldn't, so I just went, fuck it, here's the quote. Generations of young assassins are raised where they are fed an awful bitter diet rich with strange toxins. Generation by generation their tolerance grows until the blood of these willing vessels is drawn and then smelted into a poisonous iron. The iron is forged into wicked curved blades, and deadly spells of slaying are layered into each fold of the toxic metal. Finally, the red-hot blades are quenched in the venom of the pale, unnatural offspring of a basilisk and manticore.
Ooh.
Thus, the blood of the first generations of assassins still lives to this day, growing more potent with each generation.
That's metal as fuck.
Yep. Next, we have the Uzbasi captain. They're not that interesting. The information about them wasn't that interesting. But they do have robot dogs and weird fucking Taquin bird with tits.
Go on.
I sent you the picture of the weird Taquin bird with tits.
That's just a harpy. A harpy that really should be killed. Someone get Kratos, please.
And lastly, we got the Brazen Bull. Not to be confused with the other Brazen Bull. The Brazen Bull is basically a walking cannon. The cannons they did have were too big to move around on a small expedition, so the solution was, what if we made a living cannon? Enter the Brazen Bull. These motherfuckers can rip a demon in half, and you can just give them anything. And you can just give them anything. Flame cannons, regular cannons, volley guns, which are kind of like shotguns with extra steps, and giant fuck-off swords. Anyway, final quote.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yep. Final quote. On the battlefield beyond the Iron Wall, the Brazen Bull is an awesome, terrifying sight. It is a single-minded, fearless walking bulwark, a tower and shield with which the war parties of the Sultanate rally behind. Such is the power of their weapon that the very earth shakes with their pounding, disrupting the enemy advances even when they fail to slay their targets.
Gnarly as hell.
And that does it for the video. So,
Apologies in
thoughts.
advance.
Yeah, some final thoughts. Something I'd like to see added to flesh out the Sultanate is Berbers. They are a semi-nomadic ethnic group from Maghreb. They historically are a matriarchal society which has caused conflict with the spread of Islam and the increased Arabanization of Northern Africa, that being the Arab culture replacing all the indigenous cultures. They also, up until relatively recently, so pictures do exist, tattooed the faces of girls to mark their passing into womanhood. The tattoos being spells that were traditionally tattooed by nomadic witches.
Okay, yeah, we definitely need that.
Yeah, there's a lot that you could do with that. With consultation with the Amazigh, of course. Rough ideas include a tribe of nomads that live around the Iron Sultanate, but not in because of the cultural clashes. The spells tattooed in their faces give actual powers, meaning that their warband leaders are all female super soldiers. I don't know, just think the Berbers are a fascinating culture.
Imagine... I was just going to say, imagine if, like, one of their attacks... Like, you said they get tattooed faces.
Yeah.
Like, do you mean, like, their faces are tattooed, or faces as in, like, actual faces are tattooed on them?
I sent you the picture. That is a picture of a Berber woman with tattoos.
Damn, because I was going to say, if they tattooed a face on their body, then you could have it that the tattoo itself moves and screams.
No.
Damn.
But yeah. I think Berbers are just in general a fascinating culture.
Oh,
being
yeah.
a matriarchal Islamic society that people don't know exists. Like, you look up, not all Amazighs, because it's different. Amazighs and Berbers are the same thing. It's just two different names for the same culture. There are different Berber tribes, and not all of them are matriarchal. Some of them are patriarchal. But it's interesting reading about the matriarchal ones where it's like, oh, the like woman, because it's still, organized marriage, right?
Yeah.
But the woman picks her husband, and the wedding, the man wears a veil, and stuff like that. It's just like, they really just inverted standard patriarchal culture. It's a very interesting culture, and it's very interesting to read up on. And there's a lot of they're currently going through a bit of a cultural renaissance where they're like newer generations are, historically have cast off a lot of Berber culture to embrace Arab culture, but newer generations are being like, no, fuck that, we're Berbers, and they're embracing their Berber culture more and more. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this is happening in Morocco. Morocco is an interesting place, is the best way I can describe it. And a lot of New Morocco is very much kind of being more supportive of the Berbers as a culture. And there's a lot wrong with Morocco. They're not a perfect country by any sense of the standard. They're pseudo-autocratic.
Is that a country? Like, good.
I mean, they got a lot of human rights abuses. But they're actively trying to get better. Is what is interesting about Morocco is they are an autocratic monarchy where the autocrat is actively removing power from himself. That very rarely happens. For Americans, your longest standing treaty with any country is Morocco. They were the first country to congratulate you on your independence.
Oh dear.
It was 1776, I think, was America's independence. So they have a treaty from 1776 onwards. Possibly 1777, but yeah. They also once applied to be in the EU.
And they were
declined.
Yeah.
They were declined on the account of their long-standing history of not being in Europe.
Stupid.
Like, there are some countries that, Turkey, that are in the EU. And it's like, 90% of that country isn't in Europe, but some of it is, so sure, fine, I'll allow it. And then they're just like, oh, can we be in the EU? And it's just like, you're in Africa. You're an African country. No.
Can we be in the EU? What do you mean we're in fucking Oceania?
We do get to be in Eurovision. That's it for part 2 of our most likely 3-part deep dive. Part 3 will be coming out sometime in January. There might be a Corgi-led episode in between that. Depends. I think by the time I get back, my scheduled videos won't be finished. But if they are, or it cuts it too close, there'll probably be a Corgi video. Because Corgi has a full month to finish her script.
She
Full
is also
month,
Corgi.
Corgi.
She is also Corgi.
Corgi, if I come back and I'm like, hey, Corgi, I need you to do that video, and you're like, I don't finish my script, I will not be happy.
No, you
I will do
can't.
nothing with this not being happy. I will just be annoyed.
You had a whole month, and what did you do? I played Black Ops Zombies. You played Black Ops Zombies!
You also now have time to finish drawing the comics.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Do that. You have a to-do list. I made you a to-do list. To
Bitcho,
do it.
Bitcho, what if we pretend that to-do list doesn't exist and we just keep playing Marvel Rivals? Jeff Main.
Except I won't. I can book you in for a Marvel Rivals in January. Regardless, this will be the final Good Morning Ratman video of the year.
The final episode.
Yep. Next week will be it might be the final Good Morning Ratman if my plane crashes into the ocean. We'll see.
Well,
If there's in the news, hey, a plane crashed into the ocean, Baby Che was on it.
now keep out for a cryptic YouTube comment where it's like, I haven't seen him in 13 days.
By the time that this video has come out, I will have left the country. I will no longer be in the country. So,
Extradition, you know how it is.
by the time this video comes out, you'll know whether I died in the Pacific Ocean or not.
But I won't, and I'm in the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, time travel.
Anyway, next week will be a dumb tier list video I made, and the following week will be a more personal video. It was supposed to be more fun, and then it just turned out not that. I kind of just recorded myself talking and let the story play out. It wasn't scripted at all. It was just natural.
And that's how our videos get to 1 hour, 41 minutes.
I'm pretty sure I did script some jokes, but then I couldn't find where I wrote them down. So, but I did remember one, and that's like the closest to anything in that being scripted. And then after that, hopefully 2 shorts come out, continuing the adventures of Dane the Australian Primarch. I need to animate them. I should have time to do both, though. Anyway, I will most likely not be in the comments. I will try to keep my holidays. Though I do want to try to film a thing on my holiday that I think will be funny. So something might come out from that during that time. Anyway, if you live somewhere that does Christmas holidays, enjoy your holidays. If you don't, that sucks.
Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy whatever you celebrate.
Well, I more meant a country that gives you public holidays for Christmas.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah. I don't even know if America does Christmas as a public holiday. It's a
They
public
probably
holiday in
do.
Australia. We fucking love our public holidays in Australia.
They're
We got
perfectly
fucking
few.
so many of them. It's great. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Sorry, it was a bit off the rails.
Yep. Do the like, share, and subscribe thing. That really helps us out. And we will see you next year. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, sing.
Sink.
Okay.
Oh, you did it my way.
No, I said sync.
You said stink.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You might have heard it, but one of us has functional hearing and one of us doesn't.
Don't gaslight
And
me.
The one that doesn't have functional hearing is saying that I said something that I didn't say.
Don't fucking gaslight me.
Says the one who is currently trying to gaslight me.
I'm telling you damn well I heard stink.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm not fucking wrong. You're the one gaslighting me.
I will put this in the video.
Yeah, and then you'll edit it so it's in your favor because you're a dick.
You'll just know that it's wrong.
No, you're just a dick.
Okay. You ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Oh, I forgot to add today's episode is brought to you by rats. I'm glad I caught it. Otherwise, I would have forgotten, and they would have sent me a very angry email. I just wrote today's episode. Thanks. Corgi,
Barely.
did you know?
Don't do it.
that I own 3 Qurans?
I didn't, but that tracks because I've seen your closet.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell the story of how I came to own 3 Qurans.
Was it just like a book sale, or it's like buy 2 get 1 3 get 1 free?
So I've always wanted to read the Quran, but I'm never like, you could buy the Quran. I'm like, fuck that. It's a book I can get for free. No, I refuse on principle to buy the Quran. And then I was in another city and I was walking down and there was a bunch of Muslim proselytizers who were just like, free Quran. And I was with a bunch of people. This comes up. And I'm like, excuse me for a minute.
Free Quran?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was trapped.
Ha ha ha. I was like, excuse me for a moment. I'm going to go get a Quran. So I went and got a Quran. And like, I grabbed the Quran and I'm like, thanks. And I went to walk away. And the guy was like, oh, hey, like, let me talk to you. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to, sure. And he was like, it'll be 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, awesome.
And then it was 3 days later, your family reported you missing.
So I was like, I'm going to speed run this conversation. I'm just going to pick all the right dialogue options to be like, all right, yep, cool. Let's go, man. See ya. Bye. And then 30 minutes later, I finally left the conversation. And it was me picking every single wrong answer. And it became this prolonged 30-minute conversation. At one point, he's like, oh, bro, I'll get you a prayer mat. And I'm like, please don't get me a prayer mat. I don't need a prayer mat. I'm not going to be praying. And it's like, but you might need one. And I'm like, I won't need one. Please keep the prayer mat for someone who might actually need it.
No.
I can guarantee you now, even if I read this book, I am never going to pray. Do not give me a prayer mat.
If anything, that would just go to Sif, and she would probably just ruin it, which is haram.
So like, I left the conversation. I went, and then I'm like, fuck, where are the people that I was here with? Where did they go?
Hello, friends?
So I walked in one direction and then realized that they'd like, oh, they were actually in the other direction. So I turned around and walked, which then meant I was walking past the Muslims again. And then I like held up the Quran to be like, I already got a Quran. And the guy's like, oh, different guy, by the way, was like, oh, let me talk to you for a moment. I'm like, motherfucker, no,
please.
But I'm me, so I'm not like, oh no, fuck off. I already talked to you for 30 minutes. So I'm like, yeah, sure, bro. What's up? And so then he's like, oh, and you'll read this book and you'll feel the light of Allah in you. It'll be great. You just got to read this book. It'll be such a great time. And I'm like, fuck, just leave me alone. I got your book. Leave me alone. So then finally, 5 more minutes of another guy being like, hey, Islam's great. Yeah, the other guy told me for 30 minutes how great Islam is. I finally got to leave.
The other guy didn't just show up like, hey, brother, we already spoke to this guy.
Yeah.
Let him go.
So I finally got to leave. And then, I was talking with my friends, and both of those friends, neither of them are Australian. One of them was staying here like for a visa, and the other was visiting his brother, right? Mm-hmm. They both got a Quran. They both got a Quran in a 5-minute conversation and left.
And they just decided, hey, let's give this to our grateful host.
But it meant the one that was like on holiday, he just gave it to his brother and then went back home. And then his brother left a couple weeks back, and he was just giving a bunch of us a bunch of stuff that he'd bought while the year he was in Australia that he won't need anymore. And he was giving all the stuff, and he's like, oh, I also got the 2 Qurans. I feel like I shouldn't throw them in the bin. I feel like that's
haram,
like disrespectful. Like, yeah, you're probably right. I guess I'll just take the Quran. So now I own 3 Qurans. 3 identical Qurans.
Yeah, it's not even like with those egregious Harry Potter books where it's like, oh, this one comes in house colors, or this one has a different art style. It's the same book 3 times over. No difference. Book.
You want to know one of the weirdest adaptations that exist?
Devil May Cry being Dante's Inferno?
No. Halo 3 ODST being Dante's Inferno. Halo 3...
I don't want to say it, but I have to. Go on.
It is loosely based on Dante's Inferno. It uses a similar structure. There's
The soundtrack.
yeah, there's the collectibles straight up tell like a somewhat modified version of Dante's Inferno based on like the woman goes through 9 circles and she each meets like a evil human that is representative of the sin that is in the 9th circle, and she's guided with an engineer called Virgil, and you meet Virgil at the end of the game, and the 9th circle is this like supercomputer, so it's super cold, and the 9th circle of hell is super cold. It's treachery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Where
it's
Judas was getting nom-nommed.
yeah, nom-nommed by Satan, yes, alongside Brutus and the other guy who stabbed Caesar in the back.
The other guy. No one gives a shit who he is. It's just et tu brute.
Yeah, well,
Not
one
et
of
tu brute et this guy.
yeah, look, I don't know why the other guy was included. It's like, yeah, a lot of people stabbed Caesar, and only one of them was Caesar's possible son, at the very least, kind of adopted son. If you didn't know, Caesar and Brutus's mother were fucking a lot, and possibly at the time that Brutus was born.
Sorry, for some reason my brain heard Caesar's mother and Brutus.
No, Caesar and Brutus's mother were fucking.
That makes more sense, because
Yeah.
I was going to say, how the hell is this like a grandfather paradox, except it's just a dad paradox, or he is his own dad?
Nope.
Ugh.
We are going to be focusing exclusively on the Iron Sultanate. However, I did have to Google so many terms, so we're going to be
Like
talking
Iron
a
and
little.
Sultanate.
Go fuck yourself. No.
No. See, this is why I avoided you. My PC's been here for 2 weeks. I was just hiding from you. Definitely not spending those 2 weeks losing my mind, because thank you, Ozpost.
I was also losing my mind.
Yeah, but at least you had your computer to occupy yourself with. You know what I was doing? I was sitting in the corner, rocking back and forth like, I want to play zombies. I want to play games. I want to play something. But instead, I just did like 3 jigsaws and menaced my mother.
There is 30 minutes of the previous episode that was cut. Usually we cut about 30 minutes, but it's just like 30 minutes of us talking about stuff that isn't funny enough to go into off topic, or it's just the occasional flubbing of a line. It was 30 minutes of me exclusively flubbing lines, or occasionally just sitting there in complete silence for like 2 minutes just going... because I hated recording it on my own. Like, the first episode was fine because it was like 40 minutes and it was fine. But the second episode, it was just like, this sucks. I hate this. I hate doing this. I want Corgi. It's fun when Corgi's here. When it's me sitting for an hour and a half alone in a room, I hate it. I hate it so much.
I just imagine, you know that Simpsons episode where it's like, you're here forever? And
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of pictures of Maggie where it's like, do it for her, where it's like, please. Like, instead of do it for her, it's, what would Corgi say?
It's more Jesus on the cross crying out, why have you forsaken me, Lord?
Oh, damn it. Anytime I think Jesus on the cross, I'm just stuck thinking of Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
Why did they have that in that movie?
Because it's a quite famous
Comic panel?
No, comic cover.
Oh my. Hey, how do we illustrate Wolverine's journey? I don't know. It's fucking crucify him. You're a fucking genius, mate.
A lot of X-Men get a lot of X-Men get crucified a lot.
Please tell me that includes Nightcrawler, because if anyone
No,
is
but
gonna...
he did become Pope for a hot minute.
So you're telling me the Christian doesn't get crucified, but he gets to become the Pope?
Yep.
What the fuck is... For a little bit of context, for the past, 2 days, we've been playing Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
Side note, can't wait until Nightcrawler comes in, because... my boy. Same with Jubilee. But I'm just imagining, every single hero you can play probably has been crucified.
Probably not.
I don't know, I feel like Loki would have gotten crucified,
Nope.
if he was experimenting on his own.
No, he killed a child.
He also gave birth to a horse.
Yeah, he also killed a child. I was explaining that to my wife the other day because she was like, I like good Loki. And I'm like, yeah, Loki's been a complicated character ever since he killed that child. And she was like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Killing a
hasn't killed a
child does that to you.
Yeah, but who hasn't killed a child in Marvel?
It just yeah, murdering a child in cold blood. Just kind of
Did the kid deserve it?
complicated. The kid was also Loki.
Oh, it was a young Loki, like from the
Yeah. So
Damn, self-hatred really got him.
the copy of the original Loki who had died killed Kid Loki to possess the body of Kid Loki, but in doing so, he got all of the memories of Kid Loki, and he was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done what I just did." Oh, shit.
Oh my god, that was me.
Yeah, he realizes just like, "Oh fuck, I fucked up. I fucked up so bad because I thought Kid Loki was just gonna be me, but everyone loved him, and he was living the life that I wish I had. Odin loved him as a son. Thor loved him as a brother. Fuck. Shit." So then he's just like, "Oh, this sucks." And he keeps it to himself, but he eventually like comes out to Thor and is like, "I'm your original brother and I killed Kid Loki." And Thor's like, "Okay, thank you for telling me this." And then
Fuck
almost kills him. Like, beats him to near death. And he's just like, "I want nothing to do with you. You are forbidden from Asgard. Go fuck yourself, you fucking monster." And Loki's been on a journey ever since.
Honestly, that is the most peaceful reaction he could have had.
What, almost violently murdering him?
Yeah, because he could have actually gotten murdered.
It's also a testament to Loki. Loki doesn't fight back. It's just like, you know what, valid. Okay, we should actually like start. Iconic.
Did you miss me, bitches?
We're so back. It's 20 minutes and we haven't even fucking started the episode yet. We're so back.
She's barking because she wants my new pair of socks.
Huh?
Oh, sorry. I just read what was in a fucking Discord.
Oh. Okay.
I'm not just suddenly craving socks.
I feel like my wife was supposed to send that to just me and not our main Discord channel.
Yeah, well, because she did, I get to say same. Sorry, but I'm not going to miss a chance to mention how Black Ops 3 is the superior Black Ops game.
It's really not. It's Black Ops 1.
It's 10:30 p.m. as we record this.
No, it's 9:30, you fucking heathen. We'll get there. So, there's a book called The Alexander Romance, and it's a retelling of Alexander's life. This is Alexander
This
the
motherfucker.
I have a really... Stop interrupting my joke. This is my favorite joke of the episode. Shut up. So, there's a book... I will fucking fire you.
You tried that and you missed me too damn much.
So, there's a book... So
I was shitting.
I'm just gonna fucking clip that out of nowhere. Like, zero context. Just, I was shitting.
Why do we do late night recordings? It's just more chaotic.
Because you refuse to record during the day.